This is a demonstration of the Claustrophobic EZX from Toontrack. This software is an expansion library that requires either the Easy Drummer or Superior Drummer 2.0 drum sample playback engines in order to function. This library consists of 1.2 gigabytes of drum samples, including samples of different drums, different cymbals, and also different percussion elements. And I'll give you an opportunity to hear how these things sound. Also included is a set of MIDI grooves. So I open up the Easy Drummer Grooves library. You can see we have EZX Claustrophobic, and it comes with many different grooves that are set for many different beats per minute and many different styles of music that you can select to find a groove for whatever your particular song is. This expansion library was a collaboration between Toontrack and Sontronics microphones and Evans drumheads. So you can see the drumheads have the Evans logo, which is pretty cool. This expansion library was recorded in a small room, hence the name Claustrophobic. What that does is it means the drums sound very tight, very punchy. There's not a lot of sustain or reverb on the drums. So depending on your style of music, this might work really well. I'm thinking of things maybe more up-tempo, drum and bass, those kinds of styles of music. But it can also be used for other things because the drums sound very processed, have some distortion and things like that built in. It also has some layering of samples, so it might be useful for different styles of electronic music or even some urban styles of music. I think one of the great things about the library is the amount of presets that are included. So not only are there drum kit presets that can be selected here, what that does is change the different instruments as part of the drum set. So by selecting different presets, you get different drums and different cymbals. But if I open up the mixer, you'll see that this mixer is much larger than the typical EZX stock drum library mixer that just has a fader for the kick, a fader for the snare, hi-hat, toms, overheads, and room. This one has many more. Obviously, there are a lot more instruments with the percussion, direct mics for each of those. Then there are also the overhead mics. Then you have different effects. So you have a chorus effect, you have a reverb effect, distortion effect, and an attack effect. And I'll give you an opportunity to hear how each of those sound. But the main thing is this is kind of like a modulation effect here with a chorus that is applied to all the different instruments. And you have kind of like a artificial reverb sound, which can be cool, especially because this drum library, the room is so small that the drums were recorded, then there's not a lot of sustain or reverb, natural reverb on the drums. So having that artificial reverb is kind of a cool effect compared to some of the other libraries. The distortion one is pretty unique in the sense that you can kind of blend that in or just use this channel on its own to really dirty up your drum sound if that's what you're going for, which a lot of times in that kind of style of music, the up-tempo, drum and bass style, having that distortion channel to mix in is the sound that you require. And you also have an attack one that kind of emphasizes and makes the drums really punchy by emphasizing the transient of the drums. So let me play it back, just open up some of the grooves and go through some of the presets so you can hear how it sounds. This is just the stock kit, or the initialized kit when you open up Claustrophobic. So right now I have my DAW set at 95 beats per minute. This might be something more hip-hop style of music. More up-tempo here. swing grooves. Let me switch to a different preset here, the trash kit. What that's going to do is switch to the different drums. You'll see one thing that's unique about the drums that were recorded here is some of these have like a crash cymbal that's put on top of the drum to change the sound of what was recorded. So that's kind of cool. Something that's unique to this particular EZX. I'll speed up the DAW tempo so you can get a better idea about some of these grooves that are supposed to be at higher BPM. Let me switch now to a different one, low tune kit. So now we have like the Tama low snare drum, different kick drum, 22-inch kick. Show you some of the mixer presets too. These can be applied to any of the drum kits, so you can hear more of the reverb. Overall, if this is the kind of style of music you like, where you have really tight, punchy drums without a lot of reverb, I think the Claustrophobic library is perfect for that style of music. I think there are a lot of unique things about it. The drums sound very different than a lot of the other EZX libraries. Kind of the downside, I think, about the drum sets or the sounds is there's not, I think, a lot of sample detail or a lot of sample layers compared to some of the other libraries. You kind of trade off that by having so many different drum sounds. You have, small snares, 12-inch, 8-inch, 14-inch. Same with the kick drum. You have like a 12-inch tom that's being used. So you have a lot of variety in it, but you maybe don't have a whole lot of sample layers for each of the drums. Another thing is I thought the grooves didn't really take advantage of a lot of the percussion elements, that they were mostly just focused on the kick drum, snare, and hi-hat with a little bit of the toms. And so I would have liked to maybe have more variety of the built-in grooves for that. But all in all, a great library, very unique compared to the other EZXs, especially if it fits that style of music that you like.